The boat won't start when it's in gear. Remember that. Well, we got a little bit of an overcast day today, still nice and warm, a light breeze to make it a little bit more comfortable. Last night was a very pleasant night staying at the top of Lock 43. The only situation that we encountered was we didn't get all the canvas zipped in time, and much like at home, if you don't close things in and screen it in before the mosquitoes show up, you got a million mosquitoes on board. However, here, there's no mosquitoes, there are deer flies, and they're the nasty, bitey flies, the ones that take chunks right out of your flesh. And there wasn't a million, there was about a bajillion of them all of a sudden. So, of course, we zipped up, closed in, and then it was a murder spree. Murder! Trying to kill all those little buggers and save them for fish food. I had a little stockpile of 16 of them, and found probably 3 or 4 carcasses this morning before we took off. So yeah, I had a little bit of a hiccup this morning, starting the engine just before we were taking off to go through the lock and carry on, and the Ford engine would not start despite all of my efforts. So it was mildly concerning. Anyways, ultimately figured out that just the port shifter was not fully in neutral. It bumped ahead a little bit, and I'm going to guess that happened last night when I was panically throwing up the front curtains when all those bajillion deer flies were attacking us. So that's an easy one. Just keep that in mind. If the engines don't start right away, make sure you are in neutral, because these boats are equipped with, just like most cars and trucks, with something's called a neutral safety switch, which means it doesn't want to start when it's in gear for obvious reasons. You don't want anything just to take off on you when you fire it up. Much like the older Sea-Doos used to do. When you started it, you were moving forward right away. So anyways, moving forward on our voyage today, we are carrying on our next, not really stop, the next thing we're going to hit is going to be the Big Chute Marine Railway. Go over that, then Lock 45, and then we will be on to Georgian Bay waters. Yay! So we just pulled up to the blue line here at the Big Chute Marine Railway. There's probably about 6 boats, I'd say, on the blue line. And we arrived here second in line, but that's not necessarily the way they're going to bring us on there. It's up to the lock master as they bring that machine over. He's going to make an assessment and figure out where they can most efficiently lay out the boats on that marine railway cart, and then he will call us in an order that he determines. So keep that in mind. If you come to the Big Chute, or you're thinking about coming to the Big Chute, if you show up first doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be on first or even go over on that lift, because some of the boats They have to, the inboard powered boats, they like to hang them out over the back just so the props and the running gear are hanging out into space and not having to be worried about hitting anything in the cradles. So I'm going to turn on the GoPro and hopefully pick up the audio of what he's going to say. And then we'll figure out when we're going on.
Not to mention there's probably an hour line up at the bottom, but probably will continue all day with people trying to escape the storms off of Georgian Bay.
Morning.
About 20 more feet to go. 10 more. 2 more feet. 1 more foot ahead. Okay.
Vee-Drive. If you look, there's a black stripe.
Oh yeah. I was just wondering if I needed to tell you to lift them or not.
I can't do that. As we're going overland, literally, on the Big Chute Marine Railway. I don't know if you picked up on the GoPro footage of it grabbed there or not, but he said, just heads up that there's an hour wait at the bottom. Probably. Oh yeah, no floating docks over there. There's one boat there. Maybe some boats up. Anyways, that was his story, and he said there's forecasted thunderstorms potential for this afternoon, and this thing shuts down. We were down here, it was 2.5 hours. I looked at the pictures yesterday, last night we were talking about it. It was 2.5 hour wait here for us in a thunderstorm, just waiting for the thunderstorm, get the all clear. And before you ask, because I know somebody's going to ask, it doesn't cost any extra to go over this. All of the locks are the same. You buy a lock pass, a 1-day, 6-day, one-way, or the season's pass like we have, which allows us to get on to go through any of the locks as many times as we want for no potential charge. we just went through Lock 45 at Port Severn, which means two things. First of all, we are back on Georgian Bay for the first time in 1 year. And the other thing is we have now gone through every lock on the Trent Severn Waterway in the last 2 weeks, except for one. We've gone through every lock on the main small craft route from Trenton, Lake Ontario, right through to Georgian Bay. The only lock that we didn't go through, which we never have gone through, which we probably never will need to go through, is on an alternate route that takes one through the village of Lindsay and down onto Lake Scugog. Lake Scugog and the river that goes down there, the Scugog River, are very swampy, very weedy, and nothing that would entice us to go down that way. So anyways, we've done all the locks on the system in the last 2 weeks. Great. And we're back on Georgian Bay. Now, one thing that we immediately noticed as soon as the lock gates opened at 45 is how incredibly high the water level is. Same as we were somewhat shocked when we got to Lock 1 and came out of that and went on to Lake Ontario. Now, Lake Ontario and Georgian Bay are sitting at record or near record water heights. It's funny because back in 2012, we came through here with a big boat, and that was at record lows or near record lows. It was approaching record lows, water levels. And there's a spot up here at Potato Island Channel, which we're about to go through. And I remember our depth center was showing, I think it was 2.8 or 2.9 feet below the keel. So I'm going to be interested as to what this is going to read when we get here. When we get there, I'll let you know, because that boat drew about 3.5 feet of water. This boat draws 3 feet, so that 6 inches ain't going to make any difference. And with that in mind, that's why in 2013, the following year, the subsequent year, we decided to go east on the Trent Severn Waterway for the next 2 seasons on our travels, simply because the water had dropped over that winter even more, like into the fall. Here on Georgian Bay, Lake Huron, had turned the VHF down. There's so many people calling other boaters who are not replying. Anyways, that's why in 2013 we decided to head east, because my thought was that even if we had 2 feet below us at the best of times, all you need is one anxious boater, we all know the type, who would blow by us potentially and create a big wake. And so if we went up and then down the trough, we could bottom out even in 2 feet of water below the keel. So that's why we decided to go east, and that was fun. We did that for 2 years, 13, 14, before heading back up here for 2015 for a very brief visit. It's going to be a brief visit this time around too, but we'll see how far we can get. Hopefully we can get farther than the town of Midland, which is the extent of our trip last year. And that was only because of the bad oil sender. So hopefully we will be able to get out tomorrow and get ahead of it and get somewhere. But for today it's going to be Midland, which is fine. So just coming up where I registered that less than 3 feet under the keel. 2012, here we are 2019, and going through these two cans, so 9.5 feet. It's quite the difference. Yeah, 9.5 right here at this spot. 9.3, 9.4, 9.2, 8.8, 8.6, 8.5. Yeah. So 8.1, 7.6. 7.5. Yeah, so 7'5". So that's 5 feet of difference, which is basically what the level is above datum right now. And even this looks different. I may have mentioned this last time we came through. In the past, years past, off to the side, starboard side here, this whole area was awash, rocks awash, but now everything's underwater. Of course, those rocks are still there, so this channel is still going to come in handy for us. Are you on that Santiago?
That's yeah.
Okay guys, I may have to wrap this up quickly, just because we're just like last year, we're sitting underneath the almost underneath the canopy of the restaurant beside us, and they have live music on, and it's been on and off all afternoon since we got here, so I wasn't able to chime in every time I went to grab for the camera. When the music stopped, either somebody came up and started talking to us, or the music would start again. So that's that. And now the sun is coming out once again. It is getting really bright. Oh, so I'm gonna have to just swing that around a little bit. So anyways, we did just come back. Anchor Girl and I had a thoroughly enjoyable dinner up at the Boathouse restaurant right here on the pier at Midland Harbor. Would highly recommend. Our server Paul was super top-notch, friendly guy, and right there, didn't have to wait for anything, including my second Corona, and the creme brulee was exquisite. Yeah, so really nice, really good meal. So yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video here. This will be my wrap up for today. Anchor Girl was saying that she was, despite the fact that there's sun shining through there right now, that one of her weather apps was showing thunderstorms coming in around, I think she said around 8 o'clock tonight. It's currently, I don't even know what time it is. I think it's around 7 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock, something like that, whatever. So I am going to turn on that radar on that Ray Marine, like I say, one of the things that actually works well on that machine. And I'm going to take a look and see what the skies are showing us. Apart from that, we are set to go for tomorrow. I hit the beer store for a quick stock up to get some of my Corona Light, because that stuff is hard to get these days. Like I said in a previous video, the whole schmozzle with the LCBL. But anyway, so we are good to go and hope to get up to Henry's tomorrow. So yeah, I'll just do a little bit of wandering around, show you what things are like. The water levels, as I mentioned at the outset, are incredibly high. So I'm going to share with you a couple of comparison shots from 2005, the first time we were here. I thought it was 2007 in my mind, but anyways, it was 2005, first time we came up here with Boogaboo 3, our 30-foot Sundancer. So I'm going to show you what it looked like back then. For the water heights as comparison to now. Back then there was actually 5 steps going down to the dock. From the seawall, you have to go down to get to the dock, the floating docks, and now those floating docks are actually higher than the seawall. So that shows you what that is all about. Yeah, check out the weather, see what's going to be on the radar. But tomorrow we are heading up to Henry's. We will head up to Henry's. I told Anchor Girl I don't care. It looks like a favorable day. It's not a 100% perfect day. It looks like it's going to be a little bit windy in the morning, but it's supposed to die down throughout the day. So hopefully by the time we get there, it won't be too crazy. And even if it is what it is. I'm tired of, I don't want to boat around the wind anymore. So if it looks safe, we will go. Anyways, this camera is telling me my hard drive space is almost full. So I'm going to say thanks again. Thanks for following along. Please look down at the links and see what is down there for you, including a Google Map location to this very location and a few other fun stuff. So again, thank you for supporting the channel. Thanks for following along, and we will see you on the next ones, my friend. Cheers. This just showed up on the radar screen too. It's okay, kids. It's Saturday night.